Josh, hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you. We are here at the NAMM focal booth, right?
Yes, sir. NAMM 2022.
So talk us through the new developments for this year.
Yeah, so we've been making the Solo 6 and Twin 6, which you can see here. The previous version of these have been out for 15 or 16 years. So they've been around a really long time. Top sellers of ours, a lot of huge records are being recorded, mixed, or mastered on these guys. And we really felt it was time that we could make them a little bit better. It's been a long time. We've developed a lot of cool technology in the analog world to help us improve the acoustic response of the speaker. So we're super excited to announce a new Solo 6, a new Twin 6, and then a new big brother or sister sub called Sub 12. It was a 4-year R&D process. It's been a long time in the works, but we wanted to respect and honor kind of the tradition of the previous Solo 6 and Twin 6 because they are so widely used and widely known. So we kind of kept the overall look familiar. We modernized it a bit, beveled the edges of these cabinets. We're still using a Beryllium Tweeter, still using the same W sandwich membrane that we used in the previous model, but everything behind them is completely new from the ground up. So the new W sandwich cone has a 20% taller voice coil, so we get more dynamic range, more detail, lower distortion, all of it just, once again, improving the speaker. We have this thing called TMD, which we call Tune Mass Damper. It's this ring that goes around the surround of the speaker that reduces distortion between 1 and 3K by up to 50%. So it's little small things, little improvements we can make to overall improve the acoustic response of the speaker. The tweeter is still using Beryllium. As you can see, we've added this grill. It's inset a little bit more than it was previously with this new waveguide. That gives us a closer alignment between the voice coil of the woofer and the tweeter, but it also widens, improves our dispersion characteristics. So it mitigates reflections from the top of the cabinet and interaction between the woofer a little bit, and it improves our horizontal dispersion so you get a more even, natural response. Once again, the goal is input voltage. We want to be equal to output voltage. Whatever we can do to make that experience as neutral as possible, it's a tool. It's the lens through which you make all your decisions. It has to be accurate. So these things really take that to a next level, give us a better overall acoustic response. We've even gone as far as structuring the internal parts of the cabinet to make them more acoustically, perform better acoustically. We flared the ports internally and externally. We've even added Atmos mounts on the rear, so for immersive formats. So you've got 2 M6 mounts, so you could have K&M or Triad Orbit, isoacoustics, insert your preferred mount of choice. You want to hang a Solo 6 from the wall or the ceiling, now you can do that without having to tap a cabinet or work up some esoteric mount. We had a high-pass filter and a low-mid filter on the rear.
So these are additions, the filter?
These are the additions from the previous version. Obviously basic stuff, but we're very, every piece of this.
Still very useful stuff to have.
Yeah, it's kind of utilitarian, but with more prevalent immersive audio formats, you know, and with, frankly, the previous Solo 6 had a little bit of a low mid bump that people either loved or they hated. And if you're, a lot of engineers, especially the top folks that we talk to when getting feedback in the development of the speaker, said, yeah, we like to level that out. So the speakers kind of level that out acoustically, and the low frequency performance is dead ruler straight. But if you have somebody who wanted the response of that Solo, you can easily kind of
dial back in
that low mid that you were used to, and give you a similar experience acoustically that you had before, but with more dynamic range, lower distortion, cleaner, more transient, all of that. So the tweeter itself, beyond that too, we also have a feature called Infinite Acoustic Load, which is actually a chamber behind the tweeter. Most tweeters are a closed back magnet that's milled out on the inside, and the voice coil sits inside of that magnet. But the energy on the back side of the tweeter has nowhere to go. So that can create resonances and small little anomalies in the acoustic response. So this chamber literally drops the resonance of the tweeter all the way down into 400 hertz range. So you get a much cleaner, neutral. Once again, we're just making a better mousetrap. We're not using DSP, that's not what we do. We are 100% an analog speaker company, but we're just trying to make the best speaker we can, and the new Solo Twin have really improved taken the previous series to a new mark, you know.
Does the Twin have exactly the same kind of improvements?
Yeah, the Twin has the identical improvements, with the exception of the Solo. We're a single one-way or a two-way 6.5-inch driver. With the Twin, we're technically a 2.5 way. So we've got one woofer that's handling everything from the tweeter all the way down, so which is like 2.5 kilohertz all the way down to 40 cycles. And then one woofer is actually handling everything 220 or so down. So what we're doing is splitting up that amount of energy. Low frequency energy tends to smear things, right? A lot of low end is a big cycle, and then you have the medium range, mid information, that's much smaller cycles. When we have a kick drum that hits, it's going to make it much harder for that driver to reproduce those mid frequencies in an accurate way. So having that additional driver that will effectively split that low frequency load in half allows the mid range to be a little more open, a little more free, and you can also obviously just get more SPL out of the box as well. So, and then we have a focus mode. This is a new thing that's on both the Solo and the Twin. You plug a 1/4-inch cable into a foot switch, a latching foot switch, and plug it into this box, and it effectively turns it into a kind of a hi-fi sound cube, if you will. So it disables the tweeter completely. Because we have that new voice coil that's 20% taller, the speaker can also go up to all the way up to 10 kilohertz on its own. So it's just an additional feature, another utility that we could do. Once again, totally analog, no DSP. You know, so somebody has two monitors in one effectively on their desk.
Amazing.
And then you've got Sub 12. It's 142 pounds. It's super, super heavy.
It's a pretty big one.
It's a 13-inch woofer. It's called Sub 12, even though it's a 13 because 13's unlucky, so they call it Sub 12. But it goes down to 26 hertz plus or minus 3 dB, 125 dB output at 1 meter, so very, very loud. You know, immersive formats like Atmos, they require a ton of low frequency information, a ton of low frequency level. This is going to be something that's going to go a long way for us in doing that. And it's super, super clean. Whether you're really, really quiet or really, really loud, the response of the speakers and the sub is identical across the range. It doesn't vary at all. So
brilliant. Yeah. So are these kind of out now, or are they? What's the kind of time scale?
Yeah. So Solo and Twin 6 are shipping now. They're in stock here in North America, and in Europe, they think they should be landing very, very soon. Solo 6 is $15.99 each. Twin 6 is $22.99 each. Sub 12 will be shipping late July, early August, and will come in at $25.99.
Brilliant. Well, Josh, thank you very much for your time.
Hey, thanks so much. Have a great show.